7 minutes after the hour of 8 a.m. It's Saturday. It's January 21st, 2023. Oh, glad I got through that, Shane. So.
Lucky it wasn't January 23rd, 23.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing anyway. So. All right, Tom and Shane on Saturday, living like it's a free country. In fact, Tom and Shane's the only reason to actually have a Saturday. We're happy to be here with you. Thanks for letting us join you wherever you happen to be right now. Shane, it's World Religion Day. Doesn't say what religion, so I guess it's all religions day. So, got that going for you.
Boy, what a reason to celebrate, as if there isn't enough already to worry about.
Yeah. Well, we got two national days today. Today is National Squirrel Appreciation Day, Shane. You got squirrels in Kamloops?
Oh, yes, I feed them nuts during the winter.
All right. Well, you're the guy with the nuts, that's for sure.
Yeah, so. I got lots of nuts.
Yeah.
Nuts,
yeah.
walnuts.
Yeah, you got them all, so... Well, it's also National Hugging Day. I'm glad you're not here because then I'd have to hug you. So I guess I'll just give you a virtual hug.
Well, that's very kind of you.
Yeah.
I'd try to give you a hug.
Well, no, that won't work. Yeah, your hands won't meet on the other side. So, yeah.
Well, I'd look like I was dancing.
That would be true. Yeah, that wouldn't work at all. So.
No.
Well, if you're near somebody who needs a hug, by all means, get it done. Get over there, give mom and dad a hug, or brother, sister, or your significant other, whoever it happens to be that you're with right now. Give them a big hug and say, "Hey, it's National Hugging Day." So,
or hug yourself.
Hug yourself. Yeah, give yourself a hug. So,
big hug and a pat on the back.
And a pat on the back. Well, gas prices are up, Shane. Driving in this morning, Safeway was $3.19 a gallon, and Town Pump was $3.09, I think. So that's up from $2.94, I guess, a couple of weeks ago. So getting some pricing going up here. So.
Well, of course.
Yeah,
we always do, right?
Well, I don't know who we can blame for that. So I don't know. Can't blame us. We're doing our part. So, all right. Well, Shane, documents won't go away, will it? These.
Well, the remarkable thing about these documents, which I find so fascinating, is no one wants to tell anybody what they are. Like, what kind of documents are they?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they're documents of his meetings with his son's friends, well, that makes sense.
Yeah. We don't want those out there. Well, I don't know. It's rumored there, Ukraine, UK, some other countries in Europe and whatever. The big question I have is, first of all, these were found before the midterms. Why weren't we notified they were found before the midterms?
Because they didn't want it to affect the election.
Well, that's obvious, I think, but they still should have popped them out there. Hey, well, let's assume, that's true. They found them before the midterms. So why didn't the lawyers who found these documents just gather them up and run over to the National Archives and say, here, we found these at, Biden's place, and they should be here, and end of story.
Well, my big question is, when the first ones are found, why didn't the FBI, under the auspices of your Justice Department and your Attorney General, search the 5 homes he's got?
Yeah, take a raid. Let's raid the places.
Raid them like they did Trump, and including Penn State that we talked about on a podcast.
Yeah.
University of Pennsylvania's gotten $75 million from China to set up the Biden, center there, and for Biden to get paid and have an office, and there were documents there. So it's all the media was all in again against Trump and Mar-a-Lago, and it's like the media all in against Trump and women, and the more people learned about what they're accusing Trump of, they realized how ridiculous it was. He'd been discussing it with the archives, and everyone else for years, and lawyers back and forth, and the FBI went down before and saw it and asked him to put a padlock on it, but there they are sitting in Biden's garage was his classic, roadster.
Yeah.
And I love the picture this week of his son riding and driving it out, with the top down.
Yeah.
So, clearly
with a couple
lot
honeys in the car as well. So.
Yeah, well, but clearly a lot of people were in and out of that garage, and who knows who was in and out of his Pennsylvania homes or his other homes in the Penn State office. It's just the numbers showed on the poll, he's dropped 4% because of this scandal, and it'll only get worse. But now the whole thing is it's a conspiracy by the Democrats because they don't want him running again, and yeah, it's probably true.
Well, certainly that's a case. So anyway, from our text line 4788298, maybe blame oil companies for gas prices. Well, if I was going to blame them, I would ask, how come gas prices aren't still $5? If it's oil companies, how come it's down to $3 now? A little over $3. So,
well, $5. And that's right. And the reason it's down is because people can't afford it, so they're not driving
so much. Yeah. So, let's see. Well, no more people are driving. That's why it goes up. So, demand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do Republicans obsess with Biden's 10 documents but ignore Trump's cases of documents he lied about? Well, because neither one of them.
First of all, he didn't lie.
No, he didn't lie about them. They knew they were there. They told him to put another padlock on the door. They knew they were there. So.
Yeah. So, where's the request from the Attorney General and the Justice Department to, or from the archives or anywhere else, to return them immediately?
Yeah.
I don't see why he wouldn't have had any cause to not return them. I mean,
yeah.
Difference too is he's the president. He can declassify anything, not after he left office, but before. But as vice president, you don't have that ability. The only person that could have declassified the documents Biden has since he was vice president would be the great one, the Obama man.
Trump documents from the archives lied to the FBI, so they had to come and get him because he lied. Why can't you see that? Well, they knew exactly where they were, so I don't know.
And they knew how many boxes there were.
Yeah, they knew what was there. So,
and it was important to lay all of them out on the ground, including his passport, and take pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's an untold story that books will be written about, as we said a lot. They're going to be great because they're not going to look good for somebody.
Yeah. Are you expecting me to believe that people would have voted for Herschel Walker? No, I don't believe that at all. I'm surprised anybody voted for Herschel Walker, as a matter of fact. Are they known Biden is an idiot with documents? It's amazing how Republicans think the midterms would have been affected by Biden's 8-year-old documents. Well, they might have in some cases. Who knows?
Right.
Hindsight's 20/20, so we don't know.
Yeah, and the 2020 election wasn't interfered with corporate America and all the social media giants, right? Okay, let's go along with that.
Yeah, let's go somewhere else.
It's just a story.
Yeah. Well, and plus the Republicans probably ran some of the worst candidates they could possibly come up with. So, and no money went to where it was needed too. So that was another thing. And of course, as we've talked about before, abortion was on the ballot, and that's what took the Republicans down was abortion.
That's right. Senator Graham of South Carolina, his comment about the Senate being taken by the Republicans. They'd introduced legislation about Roe v. Wade. You called it. It's your win.
Yep.
Gold star for the great one.
Yeah. Let's see. Who knows how many Chinese Russian spies were mulling around Trump's vermin-infested basement of his golf motel? How many people were around the vermin-infested garage?
Well, Trump personally spends over $100 million a year for security. Plus, as an ex-president, he has a full detail, which is 10 to 12, Secret Service, and each of his family members has got a service detail. It's two. There's always one with them. But yeah, all these things are known. They're just it's none of this makes any sense at all, except let's whack Trump and make him a victim.
Yeah. All right. All right. Maybe just maybe gas prices are determined by supply and demand. When demand goes up, prices go up, and that's exactly what I just said moments ago.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. So
let us not forget 2019 to 21. Collapse of your economy. No one was driving because they couldn't go out. And gee whiz, Mother Nature in 3 months cleared the skies of all carbon, that everybody has been barking about. And it still hasn't returned. The levels still haven't, even NASA will tell you that they haven't returned. Dead, nobody there.
Okay. Yeah, we're trying to get them in here, but
Yep.
Let's try there again. Well,
Hello.
All right. Maybe somebody there. All right, let's try to take a phone call. Caller, you're on with Tom and Shane. What's going on?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey. Jerry, how you doing?
This is Jerry.
Yeah, I know.
Doing
how
well.
It's
doing well.
one.
Thank you very much. Hey, the texters are circling the wagons, but
they are. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and it's this, and it's hello.
Yep. No, you're there. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, and it's the same old diatribe. You know what I mean? They just don't understand that. What's going on and the difference between the two. But needless to say, I have a word for them. They should not worry. Nothing will happen to the president. First of all, you can't indict a sitting president. It's never happened before. And second of all, they won't move to impeach. So
no,
texters,
no, they're not going to impeach him.
Yeah, so texters, just relax. Take it easy. Nothing's going to happen to your precious president. My goodness gracious. But they still have to get out there and, thump on Trump. Typical. Yeah. One thing I wanted to mention, Tom, and I don't know if you and Shane had seen it, but there seems to be a gentleman over there in Davos named Al Gore. Did you hear what he was saying?
I did. Yeah. Al was very vocal.
I'll say. And it just verifies to me the definition of an insane asylum.
Yeah.
An empty room with the appropriate sort of people. And it's just incredible. They call themselves a select group.
Yeah.
How pompous.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying? Really? Who selected you?
Yeah.
It wasn't us.
Well, Jerry, I keep saying this. I have for a number of years. Where are the anthropologists? Where are the archaeologists? Where are the geologists? And where are the biologists that say that we have this extinction level event occurring? It isn't here. It's not going to happen. And these are all false claims. But it gives everyone a clear understanding of the waste of money for these meetings and all these people, the salaries they're paid to run all these committees. I mean, it's just an unbelievable waste of time and money. It's very sad.
Well, Shane, I would respect them more if they weren't so hypocritical in parking, all their jets along the the runways and whatever to go to these meetings. And I can't understand why they do it in the middle of winter. And and complain about global warming. How about doing it in August somewhere in Dubai? Then you can complain, okay?
Yeah.
Well, look at Mother Nature this year. Mild winter in Europe, across Europe, but no one wants to talk about it. And the remarkable thing about it is they were about ready to be squandered with the price of natural gas. And people were talking about people having to pay $1,000 to $3,000 US a month to heat their homes, and didn't happen. But no one wants to say that the weather has, saved Europe. God forbid they did that, because it wouldn't make sense.
Well, if they want to, if folks want to read about, these not believers in this global warming stuff, if they want to read about real global warming and a problem and disaster that's going to occur to this planet, read the last book of the Bible, okay?
Yeah.
And you'll see. I mean, you'll read exactly what's going to happen to this planet, and they're not going to have any control over it, and it's coming. It's prophetic, and there's nothing that's going to stand in the way of God's prophecy. So they ought to get off their high horse and just get down to reality instead of pushing a globalist agenda to try to take control of people's lives.
Yeah,
that's the problem. The New World Order.
Yeah.
And,
with the exception of super volcanoes like in Yellowstone Park going off, nothing's going to happen. And, in 100 years, that's like a sand pebble in the history of time of the planet of 4 billion years. It's just...
Hey, Tom, do you remember earlier that they, I guess it was right after the holidays, they reported that consumer holiday spending was up. And just the other day, they said it was down. And
yeah, I know. They can't make up their mind.
And the stock market just plummeted like 600 and change. And whatever. So I don't think they got their. I don't think they ever get their facts straight. And one last thing, just for people that are monitoring the commercial wars out there, Navaj is taking a strong lead over the others.
Yeah.
Just thought I'd mention that.
All right.
Okay,
you ready?
Guys?
Are you ready for the odds?
Oh yeah, shoot them.
Okay, for all you people that don't like football, throw a couple breads in the toaster. Turn the eggs over. We'll be done here shortly. So,
Jerry,
all right.
Jerry, who are you calling for the Super Bowl game?
Your pick isn't bad. I like San Francisco in the NFC, although I'm an Eagles fan, and I like Kansas City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, today's games, they play at 2:30. Jaguars and the Chiefs play at 2:30. Chiefs are 9.5-point favorites. Jerry,
wow.
this is my upset pick of the week.
Really?
Jags are going to upset the Chiefs at home.
Hokey smokes.
Yeah.
All
so
right,
we'll see if that comes true. KC's 14-3, Jacks are 9-8. So.
And how about the late game?
The late game, 6:15 Mountain Time on Fox. The Giants and the Eagles. Eagles are 7.5-point favorites. I think the Eagles will prevail over the Giants at home.
It's tough to beat a team 3 times in a season.
It is.
They beat them twice.
Yeah,
but
I
it's
know.
tough to beat them 3 times.
Yeah.
So you have to be playing your best game on in these playoffs. That's why I was flabbergasted that Minnesota lost to the Giants, but it came down to one play toward the end of the game, and they muffed it.
Yeah.
And it just cost them. It cost them the game, and the Jaguars barely squeaked out their win. But you liked them against Kansas City, okay, Tom?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, there's always an upset. There's always an upset somewhere.
I feel sorry for the Vikings. Frank Tarkenton took them to the Super Bowl 5 times and lost. I mean, that's wow. The Vikings have never won a Super Bowl.
Well, the Bills have lost 3 in a row.
That's right.
4. I thought it was 4.
4. I may be right. I don't know.
They were all with Jim Kelly, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Bills are favored 5.5 points over the Bengals, so I think they'll go on.
How about the? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the Cowboys, the Niners are 4-point favorites over the Cowboys, and I don't think the Cowboys have enough for the 49ers defense. So,
really?
Yeah.
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
Okay.
That 49er defense is pretty good.
Yeah, they are. They're very tough. Yeah.
So,
okay, guys,
all right.
I'll leave you. I'll leave you to get back to the show. Thanks for taking my call.
Man.
Have a great day, guys.
Thanks for the call. All right. Caller, thanks for waiting. You're on with Tom and Shane.
Well, and good morning to both of you.
Hey, Nancy, how you doing?
Good morning, Nancy.
I'm doing good, and Shane, my little great-granddaughter was born January 19th early in the morning, and her parents named her Ellie.
Excellent.
Good deal.
That makes her a Capricorn.
She's on the cusp.
Yep.
Okie dokie, I got to talk to you about these documents. I don't believe this is just about the documents. Of course, it's the contents. And Diane Bongino and Kash Patel, who worked with President Trump as an investigator and in Intel, they have laid it out that when Biden was VP with Obama, he was also working as a foreign agent representing the Ukraine, and he was getting, of course, kickbacks and paybacks for this. And what these documents it shows what he was doing in Ukraine, and this is why you can follow the ring of fire from Obama all the way down to the Trump election and his impeachment and the Russian hoax and the DOJ and the FBI and the whole thing. And it centers around, of course, him being a foreign agent. And this is why they're being so protective. They don't want this bubble blown burst. And I have to tell you, just a reminder that December 21st, 2022, Biden gave Ukraine $1.85 billion, and this month he's given him another $2.9 billion. And I don't understand why more Americans are not upset and in the uproar over this, and it's going to have to end. It just makes me sick to think of the money that we're giving that rotten, corrupt country that does nothing but money laundering.
Yep, I'll agree with that.
They're all warmongers.
There you are. Thanks, Nancy. Appreciate it. Take care.
By the way, I just want to mention that CNN and all your networks this week finally acknowledged that Biden and his son shared, guess what? Credit cards. So my smoking gun now is being talked about.
There you are.
His son issued him a supplementary credit card.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the tie that that's going to be the noose around their necks.
Yeah. From our text line, 478-8298, last book of the Bible warns of a con man, a liar who would be perceived as a savior. Think about that a little bit. Well, Biden has come to pass, so there we are. I mean, you can't argue it. Can't argue with the texter, that's for sure. No, we can't watch football. Remember, our feelings when hurt when a couple of guys were kneeling, and we decided we would never watch football again. Well, they're not kneeling now, so get over it.
That's right. They're using the back of their helmets.
Yeah, I hate that. I would never wear that. I would have them take that off my helmet, put the team name on there, and be done with it. That's stupid. So, all right, we got to go. All right. Thanks for joining us this morning. We're happy to have you along with us. We really appreciate you guys take us into your shop, into your barn, into your kitchen, wherever you happen to be, into your car, all of that. We really appreciate you guys very much out there. Thanks to all the texters and callers. And we are going to continue on with this. Later on, I'm going to give my prediction of who can beat DeSantis and Trump on the Democrat side. So stay tuned for that. That's coming up in the next hour or so. So we'll be right back. 27 minutes for the top of the hour. It's about 15 degrees outside right now. Having a wonderful morning here with all you guys. Not sure we're still trying to get on, I guess. He's on the phone, no less, but not online.
Yeah,
so.
I just restarted my computer, so here I come to stay.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Well, some other things, we were talking about Biden's classified documents, and we wanted to go through a couple things there. The one question we asked was why wasn't anyone told sooner? So the issue remained unknown to the public. First story came out 10 weeks after the initial discovery. So, I mean, that's 2 months or more. And what did Biden know, and when did he know it? I don't believe any of these people pack their own boxes at the White House. Somebody puts stuff in boxes, and away it goes. I don't think Trump or Biden or Bush or anyone else sat around and said, "Oh, wait, that's a classified document. Shouldn't put it in that box." So, but I don't know. Anyway, let's see. What's in the documents?
Turn me on Skype there, buddy. I'm ringing like a crazy man.
Oh, are you? Okay. Well, I'll see. To-do. There you are. At last we can see each other. I'm excited now. So you got me going now. So, all right. You're looking good. Couldn't see Shane during the first half hour. So, We're glad to have him back. So again, what's in the documents? They spread them all out on the floor for Trump. Why didn't they spread them all out on the floor for Biden, Shane?
Well, because there's too many people in the room.
Oh, that must be it. So I don't know. I still don't understand why lawyers are finding this and why they're suddenly blowing the whistle after they found him months ago. That just stinks to high heaven. Whether it was before the election or not, what are lawyers going through Biden's garage for? And the other thing is no visitors log at Biden's home. Are you telling me the Secret Service doesn't want to know every single person that's going in that house or on the grounds or anywhere nearby?
Oh no, they don't want to be doing their job. They're too busy drinking in the garage.
I guess they must be sitting in the vet with their feet up. I don't know.
With a six-pack. Yeah, with a six-pack of bud.
Yeah. Well, Attorney General Garland appointed Robert Hur as special counsel to look into the matter, and where is that going to go, if anywhere? What do you think, Shane?
They're not going to go anywhere except $50 million in expenses.
Yeah. Well, no one's expecting Hur's probe to resemble the most famous special counsel investigation of recent years, headed by Robert Mueller. That was a fiasco if there ever was one.
Well, remember the investigation of your President Trump for 4 years, well, 5, 6, basically involved the cost of $1.2 billion. Well spent on a bunch of lawyers. I like that.
Yeah. Is there a difference between the cases? Will voters grasp any difference between the cases? Whether you got one classified document or 1,000, does that not make the crime the same? It's not the number of documents you have. It's because you're not supposed to have them.
That's right.
Which would be in the case of both of them. I'm not giving Trump a pass for having documents.
Heck, you won't even give me a pass.
I won't even give you a pass for having them. So there you are. So, well, I don't know. Let's see. regarding talking about football from our app chat line, AM 1450 KMMS. Fingers in my ears. No.
Yeah, there you go.
And good morning, gentlemen from the menace in Ennis. Let's see. Before criticizing Mueller, I suggest you actually read the Mueller report and not depend on Shane to tell you what's in it. Okay. Well, it's old news. I don't know. Smart lawyers would have just destroyed the documents and nobody would have known. I think it's pretty clear that Biden has been set up.
Well, yeah, why not? You have to set him up for his morning pudding and his afternoon ice cream. Why not set him up for everything else?
Yeah. I hate to tell Nancy, but the United States is not sending Ukraine money. We're sending weapons that were manufactured in the United States by American workers. I think he's getting some cash, too. But I don't know.
Yeah, why not? He's a good person.
Hunter Biden, nonsense. They shared credit cards. Who cares? Well, I would think somebody would care.
Well, sure. I mean, a supplementary credit card. You can go to a ATM machine, put a piece of paper off, of course, in front of the camera, and take cash out. And just no one knows.
Let's see. I may be president. Start packing boxes, but Trump obviously packed his desk full of classified documents and nuclear secrets. There's no proof of that. Give me a break. The only reason I read that is just to show how ignorant and people are taken in by the media.
They sidestep everything.
Yeah. Here's an idea. Let's hold Trump and Biden accountable and lock up both those stupid guys up. Well, I'm for that. If you do the crime, you should do the time. Republicans were okay with investigating Hillary for her emails and Benghazi as they should, but now if they investigate Trump's crime, what a waste of money. I don't know.
I'm not saying it's a waste of money. I'm just referencing the cost.
Yeah.
And that's been the whole game of the Democrats now for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Engage lawyers, pay them insane amount of money. They become big contributors. It's just money laundering.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Let's see somehow Joe Biden guilty of something because he shared a credit card, but that Jared Kushner got $2 billion from a beard from the Arabs. Well,
that's good, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, Kushner didn't do anything illegal. That was the difference.
Apparently not.
Yeah. So, you can take that anywhere that anywhere you want to go. So. We'll find out, though. I guess as this thing goes on, we'll figure it out. I guess so.
Welcome to the zoo.
Yeah, we may have a caller. Caller, you're on with Tom and Shane. What's up? Not there. All right.
Okay, a circus. Well, let's call it a circus. That's 3 rings. No, we only need 1 ring.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, with Biden, you sort of need 3. I mean, he's the Attorney General and his son's ring, and he's the big guy in the main ring.
Yeah. President Trump, who in my opinion was the best president of my lifetime, and I've been around since Eisenhower, is the most investigated man in world history, and Joe Biden is the most corrupt and incompetent president in the history of the United States. And
I don't know about that. Eisenhower's pretty brilliant.
Well, he was, yeah. Well, they didn't say. He was just saying he's been watching presidents since Eisenhower.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying he said,
Yeah. Well, Eisenhower had women on the side as well as and Kennedy, and I don't know about Nixon, but anyway. So, are you saying it's illegal to share a credit card? My wife has a credit card, and we share. And should I go to jail? Only if you're making deals with Chinese and Ukrainians.
And your money laundering.
Yeah, money laundering, yeah. Let's see, President Trump has been determined to be in the top 3 worst presidents of all time. I mean, the guy cannot even accept election results, for crying out loud. Well, you only have to look at the results of his 4 years to say that's bogus.
Yeah.
So, why is Shane broadcasting from a trash can? Well, I don't know. Maybe it's your ham radio.
Because it's cold up here.
Yeah, that's
my garbage can is lined. So
it's got a lining in it. So,
yeah.
Where's your evidence that Joe Biden or even Hunter Biden laundered any money? Well, there's no actual evidence, but there's a bunch of circumstantial evidence. Let's take for granted one instance is Hunter Biden paying $50,000 a month rent to Biden for living in his house. If that's not money laundering, I'm not sure what is.
Well, of your 5 major banks, 3 are investigating Hunter Biden and his companies and associates, including his father, for not properly reporting over $10,000 transfers of funds. So that's money laundering. Of course, that story came out 9 months ago, but we'll see.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. So Vinny's trying to get in. Keep trying, Vinny. His stupid phones aren't cooperating this morning. Vinny's not on yet. He's trying to get in.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm cheering him on too.
I'm just telling him. Got to get to the right. The only thing we can answer. the only one that works here, I think. So as soon as it bounces over there, I'll see if I can get Vinny on the air. But I tell you, it was really nice when we had 3 individual phone lines. Now we got one that jumps from line to line. So
it's an intelligent tech phone. Come on.
Yeah, that must be it. Okay. All right. I think we got Vinny on. So, caller, you're on with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Well, clearly what they're trying to do is sabotage your communication.
Amen to that.
So what's going on with the Biden and Trump classified documents is they're going to say what's good for the goose is good for the gander. They're going to convict them both of felonies and disqualify them from the election. Of course, Biden is old hat. He won't be able to run.
Mm-hmm.
And their purpose is to disqualify Trump with a felony.
Right. Yeah, that's one of the theories, and I think that one holds a lot of water.
Oh, I think that's what they're down to.
Yeah. Well, we got 2 years to figure it out. Biden's got to declare sometime soon.
Well, they don't want Biden anyway.
Well, I know they don't.
They'll throw him away.
Yeah.
You know, he's dirty laundry. I doubt if anything's going to come out about Hunter.
Yeah.
I mean, even though they've known about it, they're not going to do a thing to that guy.
Yeah, I think even if Biden got into the primaries, I don't think he would win. And I'm going to talk about who I think could beat Trump and DeSantis and any other Republican that decides to run.
Well, let's remember that both Hillary and Biden have access to all the dirty secrets.
There you are, yeah.
So,
and maybe, Hillary could blackmail him easily.
Oh, yeah, both can. Both can. And both can threaten numerous closures.
Yeah, that's true.
Can you imagine what's available on the head of the Senate?
I'm sorry?
Can you imagine what's available on our illustrious head of the Senate?
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll find out.
That'll be ugly.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting 2 years. That's for sure.
All right.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for the call. Where's your evidence? We already did that, didn't we? That Joe or Hunter did any money laundering. If Hunter is such a great money launderer, how come the IRS came down on him? Because he's a bad money launderer. That's why.
Well, and worst of all, not only did he launder all this money and go out and abscate or whatever the word is, get this money, but then he didn't even pay his taxes on it. Like,
why not?
What a dope. Like, why not just pay the taxes?
Yeah. Hunter Biden filled out some stupid form and put down the rent he was paying on his office, and somehow Republicans think that's proof of something. Well, what's proof of something is that if I could pay $50,000 a month for rent, what kind of income have I got, and where's it coming from?
More importantly, he was living in the home.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
I know, but it's not just that he was paying rent, because you say, he was paying rent. Mm-hmm. Okay. Was he living there? Yes, he was. So, wow.
Yeah.
Then he realized, I can go live on the West Coast in Florida or in California, and $50,000 a month will get me like a 6,000-7,000 square foot home and a couple of swimming pools. And why not? I don't need to live with that.
Yeah. You've devolved into whose laundry is dirtier. No, we haven't. They're both dirty laundry. They both should get their comeuppance. Nobody's saying one is better than the other, or one should go to jail and the other one shouldn't, or one's more guilty than another one. That's what I was just saying. It doesn't matter how many documents you have. If you have one, you're not supposed to have it. Then what's the deal?
What an insult to the laundry restaurant that those Californians like. I can't believe someone said that. Well, you're a woke person, and you're putting that out there.
Yeah. All of a sudden, if you're all over Trump, you got to be all over Biden. So, and we are. We're all over both of them. Trump had no business keeping that stuff. No business at all. And he had no business locking it up. He had no business lying he had it. He had no business having it in his desk or anywhere else. Are we done?
Well, a president named Nixon ended up resigning because he kept all of his tapes.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Early June, the DOJ and FBI asked my legal representatives to put an extra lock on the door leading to the place where the boxes were stored in Mar-a-Lago. Why put an extra lock on the door if you know they're there? I mean, why not just take them if you're there? Show me a statement from the FBI or DOJ that supports the Trump statement. Well, as you know, the FBI or DOJ doesn't comment on things they're doing.
Well, this is just a ridiculous notion. Mar-a-Lago is a private billionaire's resort.
Mm-hmm.
And people spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, like, $500,000 or more a month to be a member.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go like this. Number one, is there security for these people? Yes. Oh, do they have their own? Of course they do. Are there cameras? And with the video, is there sound? Of course there is. And everybody knows it. Are there locks on the doors? I would think so. You go through this list of any private club, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Tom, you admitted that the midterms were lost because of Roe v. Wade. Why do Republicans try to pretend it's because of some hidden documents that Biden was a fool about 8 years ago? Because they've got to have some excuse. They can't accept abortion, so they got to have another excuse.
This was about the midterm elections, where
it wasn't.
Last August they blew up Trump.
Yeah, nobody knew about the documents before the midterm elections.
Yeah.
And if anything, the documents that Trump had probably tainted a lot of Republican voters. So there you go. Biden is not my president. I did not vote for him. And yes, he's going to be impeached because you can impeach a president again. Well, I don't think they're going to impeach him. That's just going to damage them in 2024. So I don't think they're going to impeach him.
No.
Let's see. You can jail a man for stealing classified documents and lying to the FBI that he returned all of them when he did not. Tom, you seem to think that just because the FBI knew that Trump lied and had documents, that made it okay for him to keep them. No, it didn't. I never said that.
Well,
so if you got something you're not supposed to have, you need to turn it over. Sorry, go ahead.
No, there's over a dozen people in Leavenworth from the military for doing what, this ex-vice president and president and ex-president have done. So it's a running standard.
Yeah. From our app chat line, AM 1450 KMMS on your smartphone, Obama has 3 million documents. And Biden was VP, Biden as VP was not able to declassify anything. Well, I don't believe Obama has 3 million documents.
Oh yeah, no, he admitted to it.
Well,
he worked with the archives. He was reviewing them for his library. Perfectly normal.
Well, there may be 3 million in his archive, but they're not in his possession.
How do you build $1 billion presidential library and not have anything in it because you don't get anything from the archives? Come on, will people please wake up?
Yeah, well, you couldn't read 3 million documents in 8 years, the way they're written by the government.
Well, not only that, but you're only going to find 20 or 30,000 in a library, and like you said, how many? You'd have to visit it every day for a lifetime to review them all.
Yeah. Also, from our app chat line, AM 1450 KMMS, there's a big difference. Trump's were declassified and Biden's weren't.
We don't know that.
We don't know that either. Yeah. And the president can't just say, I declassify this. There's a process for it.
Well, the other thing that's going to be interesting is the possibility of the rollover to the Obamas with this money. There may be a backdoor money laundering thing that we don't even know about. so Obama could buy his $25 million home on Martha's Vineyard, 10 feet from the ocean.
Should be underwater by now, according to Davos.
Well, but he had all the front windows, redone.
Oh.
So if that happens, it'll be an aquarium.
Okay, there you go. So he'll just be able to see, see the fish.
Yeah. Everybody can watch fish. Everybody at the Obama house can watch fish go by as they eat them.
From our app chat line, AM 1450 KMMS on your smartphone, the only way Biden will be thrown in jail before 2024 and removed from office is tax evasion, money laundering, and the like by the IRS. Will the credit cards prove any of the above like the Republicans did? Or like the Republicans did? So, well, that's the thing, with credit cards, you leave a paper trail. Nothing wrong with Biden giving Hunter a card or Hunter giving Biden a card, but it does leave a paper trail, whatever you do with it. So there.
Absolutely.
That's what we got. Explain how classified documents ended up in a Mar-a-Lago desk. I don't know if they ended up in a Mar-a-Lago desk, but if they did, so what? I shouldn't have them. He shouldn't have them. Wherever they are. Should not be there. So,
well, this stuff about these documents and the history of it with the CIA and the FBI and all the NSA. There should be a law passed, one page by the House to the Senate to the President that says, grandfathered after 5 years, release them all.
Yeah.
Just get rid of them all.
There you go. All right. I like that. All right. When we come back, we've got to talk about how Biden's document controversy could help Ron DeSantis. And I'm still going to give my choice for the one Democrat that could clean the plow of Trump and DeSantis both. So we'll get to that when we come back. So stay tuned. A lot more to come. 7 minutes after the hour of 9 a.m. Mountain Time. It's Saturday, January 21st, 2023. Welcome back, everyone. Tom and Shane in the morning, making radio great again. Mental floss for your brain. Tom Egelhoff, Tom Egelhoff, your morning mayor in the house. Shane and Talbot, half man, half amazing. That's been clinically evaluated by the John Hopkins that he is half man, half amazing. So. Just make that clear.
And so has the fact you're the Eagle Man because you have such broad shoulders, they're like wings.
That's true. That is so true. Well, in other news, this Biden documents, Trump documents, who does that help? DeSantis. Helps DeSantis, Shane. That if there's a third option for the presidency in 2024, DeSantis is clearly best placed right now. Double trouble for Biden and Trump is good news for the recently reelected Florida governor. What do you think, Shane? Is he the heir apparent to the Republican Party?
Trump and DeSantis is a ticket. DeSantis gets in as vice president, and then he ends up president for 8 years too. That's how I see it. The economy is going to get the two of them elected, and everything we've talked about since May of last year with regard to the economy has come true.
Yeah, and
it continues. My big giggle this last week was Federal Chairman Powell, with all the bad economic news came out. He ended up with COVID, so he had to go home.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be out there, Yeah. I mean, it's like nobody wants to listen to him. He's told everyone what he's doing, right?
Yeah. Move your mic. It's rubbing your hair.
It's not. It's right here.
Oh, it looked like it was making some kind of noise. I don't know. Anyway, to do. Yeah, I
move your seat. You're too loud on the mic.
I probably am. Yeah. Oh, well. No question. Is there any doubt DeSantis is going to run?
No.
So you think he will?
Of course he will.
Okay.
And there's a dozen other people that will.
Well, sure. But I mean, he's
that the ex-governor and ex-UN ambassador. Look at Haley. She's been beaten up all week long.
Yeah. She's talking. Well, she's making motions, I guess. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who all comes out of the woodwork for the Republicans, because it's a wide open primary. It will be. Obviously, on the other side, if they do get rid of Biden, then Harris, which nobody wants, will be the front runner, of course. Nobody on the planet likes her, So.
Well, that's what Pence and her have in common. Nobody wants either of them.
I was going to say she is Kamala is Hillary on steroids. There's no way you can go along with her. So.
I wonder how she identifies, as a slave owner.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'm sure she is. Yeah. Well, Trump's a legitimate danger of prosecution on obstruction charges, and on at least 2 occasions over more than a year, the Trump team said or implied that they were returning all relevant documents in their possession while not actually doing so. So that's where they stand. So he could very easily be prosecutable, Shane.
Absolutely. I mean, when your own father doesn't, support you like Kamala Harris's didn't, and people still vote for you. I mean, I don't know what it takes.
Yeah.
You tell me, what's it take?
Yeah. Well, the other thing we got to think about for 2024, just like in the midterms, abortion was on the ballot, and depending on what these states do with abortion over the next 2 years, Montana is talking about, their legislature is in situation right now. They're going to be pressed with what to do with this on a state level, and every state in the union is going to be up for that. So depending on how that goes in certain states, that could really change some seats in the House and the Senate and the presidency.
Well, those pro-abortion clinics around your country are going to be so happy because now they can raise more money, on the basis that, we have to bring people from other states.
Yeah.
All this stuff adds into great storylines and how people scam for money, and and that's what it's all about. How do I get more money?
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, Kristi Noem, I vote for Kristi Noem for president because I would be happy to look at her for 4 years. That's no problem there. So I would rather look at her than Kamala.
Well, that's easy to understand, Eagle Man. You've been looking at me for 12.
Well, that's true. That's my so tainted. Ooh, ouch.
Yeah.
Nikki Haley, of course, as we just mentioned, is in there as well. So we'll see. It's going to, as I say, it's going to be an interesting 2 years before that. It's a little less than 2 years now, but once we get these people declaring and they start campaigning, it's going to be really interesting. So there's a time limit, I think, when you have to declare for president. I'm not sure when that date is, but it's coming up soon, I think.
Not for another year. But, Eagle Man, I'm going to leave all the politics to you. I'm just going to deal with business. That to me, I know something about it, and I seem to be more right about what's going on with business and politics.
That's where we are.
Yeah.
It was on the ballot in the midterms. Donald Trump supported the candidates. That's why the Republicans got shellacked. Yeah, that's certainly true. He didn't help. Trump's also damaged and likely will go to jail. If Republicans were smart, they're not just would support DeSantis and throw Trump under the bus. And I think they will. Even though in the latest poll, Shane, Trump is beating DeSantis like a common pygmy, 48-31.
And Biden now too, and Trump has gone up 16 points apparently in the last month for people's approvability now.
Yeah,
he's way ahead. Biden's down at 36.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
whatever. Yeah, it's an up and down door, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about Biden's garage again.
Yeah, there you are. Yeah, the polls over the past month have stayed between 45 and 50%, while DeSantis has hovered around 30%. Among Trump voters in the most recent poll, DeSantis is comfortably the second choice, 44% backing the Republican governor of Florida, and 20% would support Pence, 7% would back Cruz as president. No mention of Haley or the others, but 14% would support Pence and 13% would back Haley. So,
I think DeSantis will make a terrific president, but not in 24. I just 28, 32 maybe, but not in 24. Politics is weird. You don't want to go against the grain and hurt your long-term potential. And he's a young guy. I mean. He can wait 4 years.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Yeah,
stay out of the fray.
Well, pollsters found Trump favorability rating among potential Republican primary voters to be improving over the past month. 77% having a favorable view of him. Trump's new favorability rating, taken from subtracting the percentage who view him unfavorably from the percentage who view him favorably, passed 50% in the polling for the first time in almost a month, and 7 of 10 potential voters have a favorable view of DeSantis. So we'll certainly see where that ends up. But Trump's already declared, so he's already in the fight. So we'll find out, I guess.
Indeed, we will.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was a little surprised at how well Trump is doing over DeSantis. I thought it would be closer than that, but it's still relatively earlier. And DeSantis hasn't actually, declared.
Well, Trump's in. Yeah. So he's got to work something out with DeSantis because he needs Florida and he needs Texas. So, that end of subject.
Well, I don't think DeSantis wants vice president. I think he would rather stay governor of Florida and run again sometime down the road. I know you think he might go for the vice presidency because Trump, if he were elected, would only have 4 years, and then DeSantis would be the likely heir apparent.
DeSantis is a smart guy. He's run a state government, the third largest state economy in your country. Yeah. He's had millions of people come to his state. He's knows how to get legislation passed and how to work, unbiasedly with people and honestly. And that's why Trump picked Pence. He thought he was a Ron DeSantis.
Yeah. Well, in other news,
I'm just glad no one asked Pence how to spell potato.
Yeah, that's for sure. DOJ signals to Jim Jordan that it won't share information about pending investigations, I should say. Justice Department signaled in a letter to House Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan, Republican of Ohio, that it will not share information about ongoing investigations as the GOP vows to probe actions from the Biden administration. So we'll see. But as I said earlier,
hey, wait a second. Yeah. That's against the law, because the Speaker of the House and Jordan in particular can have a closed door session. Like Schiff did. Yeah, Schiff did it all the time with the Department
all
of
over
Defense.
The place. Yeah,
that's right, to get all that information. So. For the Department of Defense to send a letter like that to, the U.S. House is just out and outright wrong. That's a treasonable offense because it's just wrong.
Yeah. Well, he said the DOJ has an obligation to protect the government's ability to prosecute fully and fairly, and the department's mission to independently and impartially uphold the rule of law requires us to maintain the integrity of our investigations, prosecutions, civil actions, and to avoid even a perception that our efforts are influenced by anything but the law and the facts. So,
once again, they have closed door meetings on this stuff all the time. Ask Schiff.
Yeah. So, From our text line, 478-8298, liberals were quick to accept any accusations against President Trump, including the debunked Russian hoax initiated by Hillary Clinton and perpetuated by the decadent leftist media and the Democrats. But any whiff of the stench of the Biden crime family, and the liberals are jumping to his defense and pulling their hair out. Hard to fathom the loyalty to this pathetic, corrupt, incompetent, lying clown of a president.
Well, I know I'm repeating myself, but look, this is all about money. Mm-hmm. It's all about utilizing the role of government, particularly the House and all the committees. Mm-hmm. You know, there's like 50 of them, and they're all got government, lawyers that have to be paid. And mm-hmm. So, you stack all that stuff with whatever you want to call an investigation, and all these mm-hmm. people are on a payroll. They don't mm-hmm. care.
Well, that'd be true that they are. So,
they just want a job.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm told anyway, that they just want a job. Mm. From our text line, the best thing about your show, neither one of you two can remember a thing you said last week. Last week, Shane told us all that Trump declassified everything with his giant brain and has the power to do that. So he did nothing wrong. This week, you're saying something completely different. Nice consistency going on there.
What?
Everything we have is recorded, so...
No, not only that, but we talked about this an hour ago, and I said, as president, you can declassify, any president can declassify any documents and go through the process, but a vice president can't.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, vice presidents can't.
Whoever sent that email, sit on it.
Yeah. Well, the thing about declassification, the president can't just say, I declassify that. That doesn't work.
No, he can stamp it, declassified, then it goes through a process.
That's what it has to be. If that document shows up somewhere else, it's got to be stamped on the top and bottom of every page. It's got to be who declassified it, what the date was, and who did it, and the whatever agency classified it in the first place, like the Department of Defense. They have to be notified also that it's been declassified. So it's not just a, clump said, I declassified all those. No, that doesn't work like that. So let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number, 406-522-8255. Caller, thanks for waiting. You're on with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Well, this is Clint. I thought I'd give you a ring this morning.
Good morning, good sir. It's great to hear you.
Good morning there, Shane, up in Canada. Hey, say, how's the weather up there? Is it cold?
No, it's pretty mild here. It's only a couple of degrees below zero, but it's beautiful sunny skies, and it's no snow on the ground. It's all melted off.
Well, it's kind of pretty here this morning, too. At least we get to see a little sun. But what I called about 2 or 3 things this morning, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, I think we got the best government that money can buy. That's number one thing. Number two is it doesn't matter whether Biden's got classified as files or Trump's got classified files. It's just something that the press talks about to try to run one person down or the other person down, and it's all politics, basically. And it's so disgusting, really, to see our news media talk about Biden, he had this in the garage, and a Corvette was in there, and the garage was locked. It's a bunch of crap. What is really going on here in this government, you take the 3 big corporations that Eisenhower warned us about, and I think Shane knows. Shane, name them 3 corporations. It's the military-industrial complex.
Well, Raytheon is one of the biggest, so you got to start there, right? McDonnell Douglas, Boeing, right there.
Well, they're the ones that's running this country. They're the big ones. And Eisenhower told us. He warned us. Now we're right on the verge of World War III. Right on the verge of it. We cannot keep pumping arms and ammunition and money into the Ukraine without a consequence later. And it's going to happen.
I can't believe they're actually considering giving Ukraine M1 Abrams tanks like that.
Well, what's happening here, they're going to...
Like Afghanistan all over.
It's right in the butt. It's we can't keep doing what we're doing. China is sitting there. China has the ace in the hole with Russia and the world. They're the largest economy in the world, and most people don't know that.
Wait a minute. I got to tell you something. News bulletin. China's in a depression, buddy. Their economy's collapsing. Their GDP last year was 2.9%, down from 8. We've been talking about this now for a couple of weeks on the podcast, and China is, they still have 200 million people locked down because there's no jobs for them anyway. And they're going to celebrate their big month here now, and everybody's leaving the cities and going home because there's no jobs, there's no work. It's a mess. China's a mess. It's going down the tubes, pal.
That's what the press tells you, Shane. I've been to China. I know what the hell's going on over there. And it's in the early days I was there, but I'll tell you something. Them Chinese people are very thrifty. They know what they're doing, and they're just bleeding us for money. They're the second largest bondholder in the United States. Japan's first, and I think the Netherlands the third. And what is happening to us, our money is becoming worthless. And why? It's because of China. And China is backing Russia, whether you know it or not. And we're, like I said, we're right on the verge of World War III, and most people are out here in the clouds. They don't understand what the hell's going on. And the press feeds us this crap every day. You see it on the TV. Well, you believe this and believe that. Well, my daughter happens to be in the television business, and she says it's a bunch of crap. It's all about ratings. It's how they can get better ratings and stuff, And I don't know why the American people don't start looking that up and seeing what's going on in this country, Tom. It's making me sick just to watch it. It really is. Well, Biden, he's got these files. Trump's got these files. It's like two kids playing on the playground. And we're so gullible, we believe this crap. That ain't what's going on. What's going on is, like I said, and Shane, you said it, Raytheon's one of them. The other two big ones, Doug McDonnell Douglas, and them, you watch what's going to happen here. Our gas prices are going to go up. Our grocery prices are going up. Our eggs, look at how much it costs for a dozen eggs, Tom.
Oh, yeah. They're smuggling them across the southern border.
Yeah, and look what's happened to the farmer out here. Look at him having to buy fertilizers. It's 100% or 150% more than it cost before. Look at the amount of fuel that it takes to run these tractors and stuff. To feed us. And China's sitting there in Los Angeles and various different ports around the world feeding us this crap that's in Walmart, Target, every place is Chinese. They own it.
Well, that's not true. Their shipping is down significantly, over 7% in the last 30 days. Their whole network of ships at sea are trying to figure out where to go because people are turning them back, not wanting them. They have a real problem, buddy. Yeah, they're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't have any.
I always look at the Baltic rate on shipping. It's at its lowest in 20 years. There's no ships out there, pal. All this that you hear about trade and everything and the problems with trade. The issues is we got to go.
Yeah.
Shane, I hate to say this, but I don't believe a damn thing the press says anymore.
Yeah. Well, me either. Me either, Clint. I got to go. We're up against the bottom of the hour.
Well, I just wanted to call and bitch a little bit and tell you what's going on.
Nobody better to do it than you, my man.
Well, thank you so much, but I hope that it changes.
Well, we're doing everything we can here. So.
Okay, man.
All right. Bye. Thanks much. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this segment. We will be back, in spite of your cards, letters, and phone calls and protests outside the studio. We will return. We've got a secret back entrance we get in the studio. So All right, when we come back, hey, we've got to talk about McCarthy on the attack against these red state Democrats. And what about this Biden app? Get you over the border. We'll talk about that when we come back. 27 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Saturday, January 21st, 2023. And we're having a high old time here. Let's catch up with our text line while we're waiting here. Let's see. We've got Kristi Noem is in the cards at 1,000%. Yeah, I think she'll make a shot, run for it, possibly, depending on who else is out there. From our text line, it's obvious Biden is being set up. They could have destroyed the documents, but his party doesn't want him to run and set him up. Stop it with the Biden crime family crap. If you don't have evidence Joe did anything criminal, if you can produce evidence, I'll join your cause, but stop the insinuation because his son is a grifter. Okay. We can do that. Let's see. You expect me to believe that Trump wasn't selling documents to Russians out of his flea bag motel? No, I don't think he was selling anything to anybody. He doesn't need the money. Sorry, folks, time to dump Trump. Too damaged. Yep, I'd agree with that. Republican Party has devolved into crybabies. They protect Democrats, what they say themselves are doing. Stop the steal. Look at that quack Kari Lake. When will the GOP restore principles and act like adults? So, I don't know, Shane, we're going to act like adults anytime soon?
Not me.
Yeah.
I'm too old to act like an adult.
I was going to say, yeah, but we're past that. That ship sailed.
Yeah. When you retire, that means you retire from adulthood, too.
That's right. Yeah, there's no reason to. Obama signed an executive order that gave the vice president the authority to declassify documents, but we know that neither Joe Biden or Donald Trump declassified any other documents. How do you know that?
Well, first of all, under your laws, because I have checked this out, like I do everything, a president can't authorize anybody to do that.
Yeah, just
the only people that can do it are the people running the agencies, creating these ridiculous documents.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to blackmail people or to go after people or, you know, this is why they all have to have a grandfather clause after 5 years. You know, it's, you know, like Biden, remember last month, you know, after 60 years, they still won't release a bunch of documents.
Yeah. You
know, about JFK's. I mean, all this stuff is just ridiculous.
All right. From our text line, 478.
It is all right. Are you sure, Eagle Man? Okay.
I think that's all right with me. I don't care. President Trump is probably unelectable. I'd agree with that. I think he probably is. The reason, even if he is up in the polls above DeSantis, elections aren't decided by Republicans or Democrats. They're decided by independents. So if the independents aren't going to side with Trump, then he is done like dinner. So. Can't say anymore. He has more baggage than any other presidential candidate. Not a good debater. Lost the debate to Biden terribly. I didn't think so. I think that was pretty stupid. Biden was barely knew where he was, let alone lost the debate.
No, but he admitted to wanting to stop, you know, drilling and coal in Pennsylvania and Virginia.
Yeah.
I mean, Trump had him by the heels.
They certainly did, yeah. His raucous mouth will remind the swing voter of past poor behavior. Behavior doesn't have anything to do with presidents. We don't elect choir boys. We elect people because of results, and Trump in 4 years did more than most presidents in my lifetime. Positive things, I should say.
No question about it.
Yeah.
Not even going to question you, Eagle Man. You got it all right. Yeah.
So Republicans, what are we afraid of today? CRT, drag queens, fennel socialism. What will it be next week? Well, those same things. I guarantee you it'll be the same things next week. Every poll.
Doesn't it amaze you, even on your networks and the other channels and Fox, and you see this constant barrage of all these homeless people. You know, now they're talking about a horse tranquilizer being used and causing all kinds of terrible things. And it's like all these politicians or rulers, mayors, whatever you want to call them, they just want these people to die. They, you know, they don't, you know, for whatever reason, it's just so sad. It's really sad.
I don't understand why drug dealers want to kill their customers. I mean,
well, they don't care because there's so many.
Well, I guess that's it. That must be it. It must be volume. We make our money on volume, not.
That's right. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Neither Trump
and new ones growing older all the time. You know, once you get hooked.
Yeah, that's true. Neither Trump nor DeSantis want the second position as vice president, and I would agree with that. I don't think either one of them are going to go for vice president or whatever. Let's see. Trump is so hated because he exposed the corruption on both sides of the aisle and the shenanigans of the bureaucracy, which seems to run our life more than Congress. GN40 gave Montanans a budget surplus. That look on your face when someone tells you gasoline went from $1.79 to $3.89 in 10 months because the economy is doing better. Yeah, that's how it works.
Well, and he's a good governor for you because of two reasons. The money you got for COVID relief, he's still got like, what, $600 million. The idea of using that, because it's there, to cover costs and then slash the property taxes in your state by 50%. I mean, these are what good governors do. Ask DeSantis. That's what he did.
From our app chat line, AM 1450 KMMS on your smartphone, you want to download that so you can call us directly from the app, and you can text us directly from the app and never miss a minute of the show. Let's see. No debt ceiling talk. Will McCarthy raise it? Will he shut down the government? Well, it was supposed to be decided by Thursday night, Shane, but through some creative accounting, since we have one giant budget, not an operating budget and a capital budget, so moving money around, they've temporarily postponed a shutdown. But where are we?
Well, the Democrats are scared to death of this, and here's why. You don't need to increase the debt ceiling. It's smart that you don't. It's showing the world where you're going, number one. Number two, sovereign debt, over $79 trillion worldwide. It's the largest equity trading item in the world every day in the market. Number three, if you don't increase your debt ceiling, then that 1.7 trillion omnibus bill that went through can't be spent. So now the government has to start cutting. It's a forced issue on every department because with all the COVID cash they're sitting on, which we've told everyone amounts to about $4 trillion in the different departments of your government right now. And even the Treasury Secretary says, oh, we have enough cash on hand till June. They've got enough cash on hand for 10 years. So I just hope that the Republicans, don't fall off this. I hope they don't. They got to grow some balls and get rid of the oranges. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, folks, for saying that, but they got to stick to, do not increase the debt ceiling. Want to save your economy? Yeah. Don't want to go into a depression? Stop.
Amen to that. From our app chat line, AM 1450 KMMS on your smartphone, Nikki Haley got a vote for Nikki. Biden is probably thankful of Republicans that they defunded the 85,000 IRS agents with his family's money issue. Please don't tell us Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is your top pick to run for president. Right on, John. No, she's not my top pick for on the Democrat side, but I will get to that.
Yeah, but how your government works. Okay, just real quick. Here's how your government works. So the Republicans passed a law, which they did, getting rid of these IRS agents. Now, the minute they did that, it's frozen.
Yeah.
So can't hire them. You can't hire them.
Yeah.
Now it's up to the Democrats in the Senate and your great president to deal with this. Because if they don't go along with it, it's right in their face. They own it.
Absolutely right. Yeah. From our app chat or from our text line 4788298, Mike Pompeo is probably going to enter the fray. Former Secretary of State, be in there probably.
He wants a bigger office and a bigger plane.
I'm sure he does. Yeah. What Tom said: Trump did more in 4 years than any president in my memory. Consistent anti-Trump propaganda is blinding the eyes of America. Only 17% of the government will shut down. Shane has the right of it, in my opinion. Do not increase the debt ceiling. Yeah, I think it's time to make a stand on that, Shane. I think it's time to say, hey, enough is enough.
Well, and look, the one thing about it, and I know I've been harping on it since last May, the big problem, folks, is no one's buying your debt.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
there's no point in increasing your debt limit when no one's buying your debt. I mean, it's absurd in so many ways. So there you go.
Yeah.
I had to get that in because I didn't include it.
Okay. DeSantis gives you everything Trump gives you without the baggage of an insurrection, election, denying top secret documents hidden in the basement. And everything else beyond that is not worth airtime.
Not true, because DeSantis is in a state the Democrats want to turn purple. They want to turn.
Oh, they do. There's no question about that.
They want to turn it red,
and
or blue, and so if they squalor their opportunity to try and do that by attacking DeSantis, right now it's not being the victim in politics is a winner.
Oh, that's for sure. Absolutely right. Well, according to AP, the Biden administration is directing $930 million toward reducing wildfire dangers in 10 western states, and Montana is one of them. Clearing trees and underbrush from national forests. That move announced on Thursday comes as government officials have struggled to protect communities from destructive infernos being made worse by climate change. Of course, we don't believe climate change has anything to do with it, but whatever floats your boat.
Forests are like streams to creeks, creeks to river, creeks to rivers, and forests go through the same process. The undergrowth grasses, trees, giant canopies, no sun on the floor, pine cones dropping, forest fire from lightning, cracks open the pine cones, the forest burns, everyone's happy, all the animals come back because now new grass, new flowers, birds, small animals, everything comes. The Great Fire of Yellowstone they let burn proved that 30 years ago, wasn't it? 30, 40 years ago, right?
Yep.
They said, it's a national park, we've got to leave it natural, we're going to let it burn.
Yeah.
And now that Yellowstone Park has turned into this incredible place for animals and life and beauty and trees and and forests. It's because you got to get the deciduous trees to grow first. They're the 7 to 10 year trees that grow tall, and then then the big pines and coniferous pines come in, and it's a natural process. And as I've said for 12 years, who put the fires out 100 years ago? Okay?
Yeah,
nobody.
Right. Yeah,
everybody just ran from them.
Yeah.
So, come on, get with this. Get with the program.
Amen. Speaker McCarthy playing offense by putting early pressure on Senate Democrats running for re-election in red states to back proposals being passed out of the GOP-controlled House. And Chuck Schumer in the Senate must decide how much political cover to give members of his caucus running for re-election in states such as West Virginia, Montana, and Ohio, with control of the chamber on the line in 2024. And I think there's 33 senators up next time around, Shane, if I remember correctly. So that's a lot of senators.
That's right, a third of the Senate.
When there's only 100 of them. So, and most of them are Democrats, I believe.
Yep, it's their bad year.
Yeah. Well, Schumer's taken shots at McCarthy and House Republicans in recent days, accusing them of pushing an extreme agenda. Wow, what a surprise. Republicans Let me tell you, Republicans push marshmallows, not dump trucks.
That's right. The Green New Deal is not extreme.
I was going to say, the Republicans are their big deal is going to be where you can park. So they have no backbone at all. They're the placebo party.
Well, back in the 80s and 90s and into this century, I watched these farms go up in Montana, the windmill farms, because as a kid, when I was out in my dad's oil fields and farmers had windmills, and they were so cool and I thought they were so natural. And now you and I have talked about the cost and, the lifetime, because they all have a shelf life and, disposing of them, and they don't produce electricity. They charge batteries.
Yeah.
And so, that's the big one to me. It's just, that's it.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous where we're headed for this. I don't know, Shane.
I got to tell you something.
Yeah.
So before the show this morning at 5:30, I was watching BBC. They had a guy doing a show on electric flying vehicles, and behind him was a guy in an electric flying vehicle, and it was probably about the size of two vans side by side. Okay, and it can fly to 700 feet. Don't need a pilot's license, and he took off and was landing and flying around. 160 grand. But it's now there. I mean, they're doing it. It's happening. So this whole thing that you've laughed at me about, that the electric flying vehicle is not going to work, buddy. $1.5 trillion between now and the 2050, and it's going to change the world. It'll get rid of combustion cars, electric cars. It's going to be such a great story, man. $1.5 trillion. I mean, that it's like computers. Remember? I mean, it started with Reagan. It took off with Clinton. It's just huge.
Yeah. I'm trying to picture guys walking out of the cat's paw at 2 a.m. getting in their flying vehicles.
Well, they'll all be automated by the time it'll all be AI.
Automated.
Anyway.
Oh.
Yeah, they're not going to fly it. They'll just push a button to take them home, and it'll take off and take them home.
And so I assume you're going to have anti-collision devices. How many power lines are they going to take out? How many cars are they going to land on? It's.
Well,
no, I don't think so.
Boeing,
yeah.
It's like Boeing and this new aircraft they built, which is remarkable because it's all AI. It's all the artificial intelligence, the software, and the FCC or whatever. They approved it and said, okay, you can put it up there, and then they had the crashes, and they had to work bugs out of the artificial intelligence of the software.
Yeah,
because in the same time between now and 2050. No planes will fly with pilots. It's all over. They need more seats to make more money.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think you can remote control. I mean, we do it with drones and everything,
That's right.
But you still got to have a pilot of some kind directing the plane, like the drone.
The U.S. military doesn't.
Yeah, they do. They have people running the drones.
They have those wing. I know, but they have those wing bombers flying. Yeah, they landing and taking off, but someone is.
Yeah, they got somebody somewhere.
Well, of course, It's the guys in the tower will have to be re-educated, which means more jobs. That'll be a whole. When they build towers at airports, instead of just being an elevator shaft, it'll be a building full of guys, handling all the air traffic by drone. I agree with you 100%. So now we have money. Now you have cause to go rebuild all the airport towers because it's artificial intelligence and drones.
Yeah. Well,
it's all good stuff. Everybody should be happy about this.
It's amazing to me the thousands of flights that they handle every day with airplanes.
12,000 commercial.
Yeah, 12,000 flights. But when you're talking about 100 million people running around in drones that aren't obeying, how do cops pull you over up there?
Well, they won't. No, it'll be the guys in the towers that'll be keeping track of you, and then they'll if you're out there speeding or something, you'll get tagged. But it's all going to be AI, artificial intelligence. It's all art. You're just going to push a button. You're going to just tell them, get into it and say, "Take me home." Man, it's not. This is great.
Okay,
this is so outstanding. It's going to save the world. But, they don't want to talk about it because then they couldn't be spending these trillions on the Green New Deal.
Well, not in my lifetime. They won't be flying around.
Yeah, they will. They already are, buddy.
No,
Sorry.
No, they won't.
Oh, yeah. And China's biggest car company's now done a deal with electric flying vehicle company, and Tesla already has it. He's ramping up. Oh, and did you see the contract that his burrowing company got? Tesla's, he's got the burrowing company. He started that train in LA, but then they ran out of money. Anyway, Las Vegas has picked it up, and they're going to do 16 miles underground with his boring company underneath the city of Las Vegas to move people around in. That's pretty cool. I love it.
Well, as I say, you won't see flying vehicles in my lifetime. So
they're already here. I just told you. I saw it on TV this morning. Go to BBC and look.
I know they're here. I know they're out there.
Okay.
But for 1 million people to have them in my lifetime ain't going to happen. Sorry.
All about software, buddy. X's and O's.
Well, that's fine. But
they used to be hugs and kisses. Now it's artificial intelligence.
Well, I'll tell you, Alexander Graham Bell and Watson didn't go to texting the next day.
No, they didn't have to. They had the telegraph.
No. Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, that's a texting.
Anyway, getting back to Congress, a number of bills coming up in the future, securing the border, producing more energy, stopping the COVID emergency across America so we can get back to work. Bills that House Republicans plan to move along with legislation passed last week to prohibit the sale of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to China. We can't sell oil to China. Come on.
Yeah, and the laptop from hell apparently turned up another email this last week of your president and his son and his brother all being involved in a deal with China to buy. It was so big they put it down in tons of natural gas.
Yeah.
It's like, I wish I got Christmas cards like this.
Yeah, right. From our app chat line, or from our text line, sorry. I get them confused, Shane. I'm old. 478-8298. So, Tom, are you ready? And all retired Americans prepared to lose your Social Security payments to this stupid debt thing. I don't know how. I don't know how many times I've
handle this, Eagle Man, because I'm not going there.
How incredibly stupid are you to think that any agency of the government, any agency, is going to curtail or not pay your Social Security? You'd have to be a complete mental case.
Yeah.
A mental case to believe that. I mean, there's no way. Medicare, fraud all over the place. Social Security fraud all over the place. Still going to be paid.
It burns my oranges about someone sending you an email like that. This is why it burns my oranges. Because people like that, with that sensibility or lack of knowledge, is preventing Uncle Biden from sending us a bonus Social Security check.
Yeah, there you are. All right, we're up against the bottom of the hour. Shane, there's a caller.
Gotta go, buddy.
There's a caller waiting on the line. If you could chat with them, I'll be right back with more right after this. So, by all means, stay tuned. 7 minutes after the hour, it's Saturday, January 21st, 2023. It's National Hugging Day out there. So give whoever you're with a big hug. Tell them you're happy to be with them and whatever. And so I think we have a caller on the line. Shane has determined is worthy of airtime. So caller, you are on with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Yeah, good morning, Tom.
Morning.
Shane and I have been chatting about the weather and other issues.
Yeah.
anyways,
you're still awake.
All the, very.
Oh, thanks, Eagle Man.
Just to calm everybody down, because we don't have to worry about anything in the world at all, because right now they've been having the World Economic Forum over there in Davos, Switzerland, where the world elite has been gathered.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Klaus Schwab he's the head of that World Economic Forum, and he urged the elitists to master our future. That's what they're going to do. And old John Kerry, John, he married into the Heinz fortune.
Yep.
Heinz ketchup and whatnot, and he's one of the elite. And what he said, among other things, was that those gathered in Davos, Switzerland, are select human beings, and their mission to save the planet is almost extraterrestrial.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it's extraordinary that we select human beings are able to sit in a room and come together and actually talk about saving the planet. So, yeah, they're going to get that done. But I was reading this article. It's pretty interesting, because the truth about these globalists over there that fly in and their jets and bring their entourage with them and everything else is that they're really not elite at all. And the fact is that many of them are just gross old men paying beautiful young women for sex, apparently. I guess that's something to do with tackling gender inequality, but apparently prostitution is legal there. But each year during the summit, when these world leaders and business tycoons and whatnot, and they jet in from all over the world, the demand for the sex work over there just skyrockets. And these escorts are booked into these same hotels as these high-powered bosses and their employees and whatnot. And the escort services are just like fully booked for the entire week because of the raging demand over there.
Yeah.
And so
I can imagine most of these people, when you look at them, are probably frustrated. I don't think they have a line of women waiting for them without payment.
Well,
particularly Carrie.
Probably not. Of course, we can't paint them all with the same brush.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Oh no, you don't need to. You just borrowed Biden's credit card.
I hope some of them are selective.
Well, I guess in the midst of what they call that what's that French word I'm trying to come up with? Inflagrante delicto. When they're not involved with that, they're going to solve the climate change and environment, and of course, diversity, equity, inclusion, sensitivity training, this sort of thing. They'll get that straightened out.
I'm sure they will.
So yeah, it's
well, it's all misdirection. Everything you just listed are all the things that they want to talk about because they don't want to talk about the things that need to be solved, right? Like fresh water for people.
That's exactly right.
Food for people, electricity for people, and sewage for people. They don't want to talk about any of those things.
Flying cars.
That's right.
Well, maybe they should start addressing things like the world shortage of food that's coming down the pike. From east to west and across the whole continent of Africa, they're starving to death.
That's for
Somalia, they're starving to death over there. You don't read about much of that or hear about it, but
no, in the first world, you can't get batteries from China, and no one wants to talk about, UNICEF can't get food to people in Africa that's free.
Yeah, I know.
It's just,
something like 3,000 people starve to death every day.
Wow.
I was reading something crazy figure like that. But, well, I'm going to get off the phone, and you guys can continue with the resolution of problems.
We'll do our best. Thanks for the call. Thanks for listening. Appreciate
I know you will. All right, man.
Take care.
Thanks, Thomas.
All right. Yeah, the Davos would be well served, Shane, if they just broadcast 2 or 3 of our weekly radio shows each day. over there. So
that's right.
They'd be,
or even had us sit down at their conference and talk with them.
Well, we should. Things. Yeah, I don't know why we're not invited. But,
yeah, it's
Yeah.
I mean, they could invite both of us, but we couldn't afford to go. So I just want the invitation.
Well, you'd have your own private plane. I'd have to go by drone. So.
That's what I'd go by, electric flying vehicle.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eagle Man. That was good.
Just because I've been here for 30 years, this is from our app chat line, AM 1450 KMMS on your smartphone. Just because I've been here for 30 years, 1 year after the big fire in 92, and I visit the park every year, I live 20 miles away as the crow flies. It isn't pretty. So there you are, Shane. Yellowstone isn't pretty. So.
Of course it is. It's fabulous in the springtime. I've seen the videos. I've seen the pictures.
Yeah.
There's more deer. There's more birds. There's more insects. There's more ground vermin than there was before 92. The whole place has come back to life. That's what happens in a forest. It's a natural process.
Well, that could be. All right.
It gets back to geologists and biologists, archaeologists. They'll tell you that there's discoveries around the world about extinction level events. They can see charcoal rims in geology, that they've looked at from drilling out cores and everything. And this has happened before. It'll happen. Oh, and by the time there's been 5 extinctions, 2 by volcanic events, 2 by ice ages, and 1 by an asteroid they've identified in the last 200 million years. So there you go.
Okay. Well, I would comment on the park, but I never have been there, so I can't.
Yeah, that's right.
So I can't comment. So. Let's see. Republicans raised the debt 3 times under Trump. Also, it's unconstitutional. See the 14th Amendment. Well, who says Congress has to abide by the Constitution? They never have. When are they going to start? Not anytime soon, I don't think.
Well, the longer this goes on, the more apparent it becomes to Americans that there's no reason to do it. It's been it's just been a ruse. And so that, I'm actually happy to see that McCarthy is holding out on this and saying no. In fact, you got to start cutting back.
Yeah. Don't think flying cars will happen. All the trees would have to be cut down. What an ugly world. Cars would be on the way when dropping off and picking up people. And the year of the fire was 88. I was going to say it was 88 or 89. That was right after I moved here, I think, that it happened. So,
no trees are going to be cut down because electric vehicles of any kind, cars or plane or drones, are all going to be made out of oil and metal.
And the trees will be too. So, there's no common sense in artificial intelligence. People are dependent on it and becoming artificial themselves, soulless. There you go.
Ouch.
Yeah. All right. Here's a good one for you, Shane. Nice visual, Tom. Is it legal to be drunk and let your autopilot fly you home? Well, if you remember in the old days when everyone was on horseback, the horse knew how to go home, and it didn't run into other horses. They didn't collide on the way home. Horses were able to avoid each other. But I've often wondered, why are there parking lots at bars? Should the parking lot be like about 3 blocks away from the bar?
That's right.
If you could walk there, you could drive.
Tie off the reins and get on the saddle backwards and lay back on top of the neck of the horse.
And the horse will take you home. Yep, that's it.
Back to the barn, baby.
Yeah. Batman will regulate the skies. Oranges. So there you are, Shane.
That's good.
Yeah. Let's see. The governor's race in Arizona shows that the Dems are getting their election machine dialed in to ensure wins in 2023, in my opinion. Who's going to produce all those drones? Skynet? Skynet refers to the artificial intelligence in the movie Terminator. All right. So I guess they will. Let's see. Sounds like Shane has been reading too many Jetson comic books. When a spending bill is passed and then the money is slowly placed in the market, is that when it goes on the national debt? As far as I know, it goes on the national debt when it's spent, not when it's appropriated. So.
That's right. So now they've done it. They've appropriated it, but now they can't spend it because there's a limit, right?
Yeah, all they're doing is increasing the limit on the government credit card when they raise the debt ceiling. That's all they're doing.
Yeah, which is why they did that omnibus deal before the.
Got to get that done before. Yeah. So let's see what else we got.
By the way, just so you know that 3.5 drones have been built, and there's over 1.1 million flying in the air around the world today.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's not. No. Flying cars exist because they are like drones. I guess so. Okay, let's see. What do we got in this one? 478-8298. Trump and Trump and Trump and Trump. Okay. I read that one. So
he's not in office. He's basically playing golf and
enjoying himself.
Enjoying himself, and they can't help it.
I know. Such fear of this guy is unprecedented. Reagan might have come close. If we had social media when Reagan was around, I think it would be similar to what Trump's going through.
Well, Trump's, spending $100 million to update his jet so he can fly around for the next 2 years. So it's going to be great.
Yeah, that'll work out just fine. So. Yeah. All right, let's see something else we were going to talk about. We're going to talk about the Biden's come up with this mobile app so that you can put yourself in here for to get your court date before you even cross the border. You get on this app, and I guess apparently every immigrant has a smartphone and are able to pay the bill somewhere, even after giving their life savings to the cartels, and traveling across the country. And do you think they get roaming charges, Shane, on their phones? I don't know.
I just think they're all under contract. So, the employer's providing them with a phone. It's part of the contract.
Yeah. Well, the app allows immigrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela, none from Mexico or Honduras or El Salvador or Nicaragua, I guess. Well, no, Nicaragua's in there. I'm sorry. To request an appointment up to 2 weeks in advance to meet with the U.S. officials to begin the pre-screening process before making an asylum claim.
Well, I get a skedaddle out of this story because the Biden White House hired the same people that set up the website for Obamacare.
Oh yeah,
and we know how successful that was, right? So they hire the same people.
Yeah, I know.
Like, if that's not grift, whatever, I don't know. That's great.
I don't know.
Love that story. I saw that. I love that story.
Well, I think there's something like 1.9 million waiting to get their court date right now. I think at last count when I looked it up, it's a massive number.
Well, it's a pretty remarkable reality to deal with. The whole thing about the country's legal system and court cases and everything that you're looking at there, because it's one of these things that you look at and you go, I'm not sure that I understand how this could possibly work. It's you look at the number of cases, over 100 million civil cases are filed a year, and criminal cases, they're over 400,000. And less than 6% go to trial because people, they negotiate out on them. But it's just when you look at it, you look at the number of cases, and then to see that there's like you just said, like a million pending from these immigrants.
I know. It's ridiculous. I mean, there's no way. If you ran courts 24/7, 365, it would take 10 years to get 1.9 million through there. From our app chat or text line, I don't know why I'm app chatting text line problems this morning, but from our text line, I can't afford to travel to the next state. How do these illegal aliens travel thousands of miles with new cell phones and arrive overweight? Airlight mini planes were created in the late 80s and early 90s. Why did they disappear? Yeah, because
it's a solution.
Nobody could buy them. It's probably one reason.
No, it's a solution. It's a solution.
You refuse to read that which hurts your feelings. Well, yes, I do. I'm a very emotional person. If you hurt my feelings, that's serious. I mean, that's really a big deal to me. I mean, You're not immune. You honestly believe that expletive deleted got so much accomplished, like opportunity zones, renaming NAFTA, Donchester's VA. Well, those aren't the only things you could do. First step, getting people out of prison, giving more money to black colleges than any other president. Right to try, passing legislation so terminally ill patients could take advantage of experimental treatments, shutting down the border, keeping people in Mexico. If you're better off now than you were then, I can't help you. So, calling illegal aliens undocumented immigrants is like calling heroin pushers undocumented pharmacists. That's from James. That's a good one, James.
I know. I just want to get about these numbers really quick. Okay, so
okay, go for it.
When I said there's 100 million cases filed each year, those are principally state trial courts. 400,000 cases are filed in federal courts. But this you're gonna love this. There are 30,000 state judges in your country. Now, all those 30,000 have to be elected. They're not appointed. And there's only 1,700 federal judges in your country, and they're all appointed. So it's, there's three areas of your court system. There's criminal, there's civil, and there's bankruptcy.
Yeah.
So you think of these numbers in terms of what we're being told with regards to all these people crossing your border. It's like, okay, what side of this don't I get?
Yeah, I know. It's pretty remarkable. So I don't know, but anyway, this Biden app. I'm not even sure who thinks up this stuff, Shane.
Well, obviously, people in the White House, because
apparently
it's a grifter deal. It's just same people that did Obama's Obamacare. So I mean, let's go spend $20 million and pay these guys to set up a website. That's all. They just sit around and figure out how to spend money.
Yeah,
your money.
Yeah. Well, there's 5 events, Shane, that are going to affect 2024, 5 political events that are going to happen this year. One is Biden's reelection announcement, the date pending on that. I know there's a time there's some date you got to have your number in or your name in. I'm not sure where it is. But anyway, he's 80 years old. He'll be the oldest president ever. He'll be 82 by the time he's sworn in for a second term if he should win. Also, the GOP winter meetings are coming up in January 25th through the 27th, and we've also got the winter meetings for the Democrats early February. So what comes out of that? Either one of those. And then CPAC comes up March 1st through the 4th. And, of course, Election Day 2023 will be November 7th, and that's going to be governors 3 states, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, They're going to hold statewide elections, but Virginia will be the biggie. And Governor Glenn Youngkin defeated Terry McAuliffe, of course, in that one, as we all know. So a lot coming up this year, Shane, in the coming months anyway, that are going to have a bearing on where we go in 2024.
That's right. It's going to be so exciting.
It will be exciting. Ooh, that'll be good. Yeah. Well, the other thing, too, there's about 8 seats that might flip in 2024 in Arizona race, Senate race in Arizona. Kristen Sinema might, she left the party to become an independent. And so that is a vulnerable one there. Michigan is another one. Debbie Stabenow, a Democrat of Michigan, announcement that she's going to be in there. Montana, of course, John Tester has said he's not going to run again, but we'll see if he declares or not. Nevada is another one. Ohio, Sherrod Brown survived the last reelection. Pennsylvania, of course, that's always an up-and-coming state. And, of course, Joe Manchin in Virginia, West Virginia. So a lot to do as we come up.
For everybody.
That's for it. All right, final hour coming up. A final half hour coming up, I should say. I'm going to reveal when we come back who I think will beat DeSantis or Trump or Kristi Noem or anybody else that decides to run on the Republican Party, and I'll tell you why right after this. 27 minutes for the top of the hour. It is Saturday. It's January 21st, 2023. It's National Hugging Day, so hug somebody who's nearby if you have the opportunity. Tom Egelhoff, your morning mayor in the house. Shane Montalban, half man, half amazing in Kamloops, Canada. And I want to talk about the individual I feel has the best chance of beating either DeSantis or Trump or Kristi Noem or Haley or anybody else, Pompeo, anybody else that wants to run. This guy would be a shoo-in for the presidency of the United States. His education, he went to Valley Forge Academy, Military Academy. That's in Pennsylvania, Wayne, Pennsylvania. The average cost after aid to get in this joint, Shane, the cost after you get financial aid is $43,000 to go to this military academy, which he graduated summa cum laude from there. Next, he went to Johns Hopkins University. The tuition there after age, $23,000. The graduation rate is 93%, and the acceptance rate, Shane, you got to be in the top 8% to even be considered to get in there. And after that, if that isn't enough, how about a Rhodes Scholarship in Oxford? This guy went to Oxford and a Rhodes Scholar. He was also summa cum laude at Johns Hopkins, and he's 44 years old. He's black, married, 2 children, and he is currently the governor of Maryland, and his name is Wes Moore. And look him up if you're so inclined, because he is quite a story. Came out of nowhere. He's never run before. He was also, he's in the Army Reserve, and he's been an investment banker in New York. He's published 5 books. He was CEO of the Robin Hood Foundation from 2017 to 2021. Robin Hood, of course, Shane, we've talked about, has come under a little fire for some of their things there. He was also, he's also in the military intelligence, Shane. I mean, this guy's like, guess who's coming to dinner? Sidney Poitier. You know, the only thing you cannot like about him is, I don't want a black president.
Well, maybe he's a second cousin.
Well, he might be. I don't know. It doesn't say anything about him having slave ownership or anything like that, like Kamala had.
Not yet.
Not yet, anyway. Yeah, he does have some. He does have some checkered things in his past, as all politicians do, of course. So, but he punches all the tickets that the Democrats want, all the social issues he's for, the minimum wage, raise, taxes, all of those things. He served in Afghanistan as well, Shane.
He's thinking about running for the Senate, though.
Well, he may run for the Senate, and I think he would probably win the Senate. I think he should just bypass the Senate and go straight to this guy's clearly Obama 2.0. I mean, he's well-spoken. He doesn't sound like he's from the hood. As Sharpton and what's his name? Jesse Jackson.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is actually articulate, and he's got a great background and, all sorts of things. As I said, he was in military intelligence and, he's got so many things going for him that, I think the Democrats would be stupid just to gloss this guy over. I think he should throw his hat in the ring.
Eagleman, I think it's a great call on your part. And I'm leaving politics to you, but now you got a problem because you've created an expectation. And now that you're going to be the manager of the woke Democrat bench for president, people are now going to expect that, this is your first one. And now you got to come up with at least another 9. You're going to have to come up with at least 10 people for the bench, right?
Oh, yeah, probably so. But I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, I saw an interview with him and started looking up about him. And, as I say, he's got a couple checkered, past performance things going for him. But other than that, I think his education, his experience, military, I mean, come on. What more do you need? I mean, geez. So.
Well, Bush Sr. was the last president that had been in the military, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Well, his son was in the National Guard sometimes.
Well, that's true. Yeah. Well, that brings us to George Santos, Shane.
Here we go, baby.
I talked about this guy enough. Yeah. Well, McCarthy has decided they're going to put this guy on 2 committees. He's going to be on the House Small Business Committee and the House Science, Space, and Technology Committee. I guess he can't do much damage in either one of those, Shane, even though he's been a huckster with investment banking and all kinds of other stuff.
Unless he wants to approve electric flying vehicles.
Yeah, that's. I'm sure that's what he's going to do when he gets over there in that science and space technology thing. I'm sure that's why they're putting him in there. So
you're giving me the option opportunity to do this all day long, Eagle Man. I'm jumping on it. Okay.
Okay, go for it. Yeah, his assignment to the panels comes after multiple members of his own party have called for him to resign over his admitted fabrications. It would be easier to tell you what this guy hasn't done than what he has done. So,
well, it reminds me of that the senator from Wisconsin, the ex-comedian.
Yeah,
and this is where wokeism really, I think, was created and was identified. He was accused of sexual harassment, I believe, or something like that.
Yeah.
And he didn't even wait for the news cycle to cover 48 hours before he resigned.
Yeah.
And then 10 days later it was over, and then he started complaining, I want my resignation back.
Yeah.
But the long story short, everybody realized after that moment or that experience or that happening that you don't say anything. Like, right? Yeah. This has gone on against him for since January 3rd, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So.
It's just amazing that none of this came up before the election. Now, of course, the controversy is that was the plan of the Democrats because they knew they were in trouble. And, so they figured they'd pile drive him and then, he would resign and then there'd be a special election. They'd win.
Yeah. From our text line 4788298, regardless to any other Biden epic failures like Afghanistan, the War on Petroleum Industry, to name a few, Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution states that the federal government shall protect each state from invasion. Biden is actually allowing the invasion on this issue alone. China, Joe Biden could have been impeached for documents served on him. And I would say that's could be.
Well, it's one of the things that people have been talking about for 30 years.
There you go. Yeah.
You know.
All right, smiley faces to Shane. Great show as usual, Shane. You got you got at least one fan out there somewhere.
Come on, Eagle Man, don't be nice. Don't be too nice to me. You know, just one fan. That's awfully nice of you. Thanks.
Yeah.
I guess you have two. No, you got to have more than that because they voted for you for that luscious voice.
I know, yeah, that's for sure.
So you have to have dozens, hundreds.
Yeah. Trump did not give more money to black colleges. Yes, he did. It's not him saying it. It's a matter of public record saying it.
And not only that, but he did it in a way by executive action, so they don't have to come back every year. It's grandfathered. It's locked in.
Yeah. He added more to it and made it an executive, an EO.
That's right.
The only thing on your accomplishment list that Trump did better was the border, and he failed at that. His deliberate separation cost taxpayers $450,000 per family. I don't think so. I don't know where you're getting that.
That never happened. That was a ruse. It was one of those, false stories, and it never happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. About Wes Moore, what are his policies, and how is he going to bring in swing states? Well, his policies are pretty much the progressive policies of the Democrat Party. So that's pretty much it. So if you've got independents who sway left, he's going to pick those up, I think, because a lot of people are going to look at him as Obama 2.0. And that will swing.
That's right.
I think that'll swing some independents that way. And depending on how weak the candidate is for the Republican Party, whoever that will be, might make a big difference. But he, I when I look at his qualifications compared to any of the Democrats they've run recently, including Harris, oh my God, this guy graduated summa cum laude from a university that only 8% of those who apply get in. I mean,
he should have identified as a Scotchman and wore a kilt. He probably would have got it.
I don't know, man. He's something, yeah. If you think Trump would have done better in Afghanistan, remember Trump made the deal with the Taliban. I have a bridge to sell you. Well, the mistake is that Biden told the Taliban when he was leaving. Trump didn't. Trump said they were going to get out, but he didn't tell them when.
Now, the other thing is Trump told the leader, you kill an American, we know where you are, we know where you live, and we're taking it up tenfold. Yeah. And, we'll come after you, we'll come after your family, and, those are the rules. Yeah. That's not a line, that's a rule. And guess what happened? They didn't shoot a single American for 2 years. So
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah. Well, PolitiFact is not a legitimate fact check source. If you want to look it up, I mean, I didn't say it because I was just throwing it out there. I've looked it up. I've got multiple sources. He gave more money than any other president ever to black colleges.
100%.
So.
And by the way, your comment about the bench for the woke Democrats, the demolition party, as I've been calling them now for 2 years, several mayors are coming up for major cities in your country in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see if anything changes there. Meaning, do the Democratic machines continue to run these cities? That could create a real interesting situation insofar as how the politics flow in your country, ebb and flow, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it'll change, but I'm just mentioning it.
That's it. Let's see. Giving our money to black colleges. Why should black colleges get more money than other colleges? They didn't get more money than other colleges, but they got more money from Trump than any other president, including Obama. So there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a matter of public record. That's not a Trump said I did it. That didn't have anything to do with Trump. That's part of the record.
Well, when you look at the African community as it is now, the second largest minority in your country, and you look at the success they've had, and you look at the success they had in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, because they had to build their own bars, restaurants, hotels, and so forth. We all know the story. $1.4 trillion in, African Americans holding, holdings. And, they're utilizing that to help re-establish the African community in a stronger way. So, when a president steps up and does something that the Senate and the House doesn't do, instead of saying bravo, they have to attack him, which is that's sort of sad, isn't it?
Yeah. So there we go. It's that simple.
Not complicated.
Common
sense, Thomas.
Yeah. Yep, it's pretty cut and dried. Let's see. We talked about. We need to talk also. As long as we're talking about Santos, we can't leave out Marjorie Taylor Greene and
please, no.
Paul Gosar.
No, you can't do that. No. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, they're going to be in some of the big committees they were stripped out of. The Democrats kicked them out of various committees that they were in, and House GOP Steering Committee selected Greene to sit on the House Homeland Security and Oversight Committee. That means she'll be in on the investigations of all the stuff. And Gosar is going to sit on the House National Resources and Oversight Committees, which he sat on before being stripped of the spot on the panel, according to two sources familiar with the selection. So McCarthy isn't holding any bad blood about these people. He's still pointing them to the spots. So,
well, the great thing about these committees is this: every chairman of any committee, when they have a hearing and someone's sitting in front of them, after the person's sworn in, the chairman gets to talk for 15 minutes.
Yeah. And
then at the end of the hearing, he gets to talk for 15 minutes again. Otherwise, everybody else on the committee gets to talk for 5.
Mm-hmm.
And he can interrupt anyone at any time and make statements and talk as long as he wants. So this might be very entertaining to see what happens in all these committees when, like the film should be good that we get to watch.
That would be it. From our text line, 478-8298, apparently the Trump derangement syndrome continues unabated on the Tom and Shane show. Where can these people receive counseling? Well, I'm hoping they receive it here.
There you go, Eagle Man.
You got to give them
You just need a bigger couch in your office there, buddy.
That's what I need, yeah. I was just reading the article about the MSU female student who was kicked out of her sorority after complaining about sexual advances from the other girls and for her stance on not understanding why we need preferred pronouns in a sorority. Do we need preferred pronouns in a sorority, Shane? I can't.
Yes, sexy, good looking.
Yeah, hot, baby.
I want to go out with you. Yeah. How do I get a date? Yeah.
I can't really take any position from a party that feels that girls should be evicted from their homes for refusing sexual advances seriously. I don't
even want to get into it. I was in a fraternity in Bozeman when I went to the university there. So, I mean, the Greek life is pretty wild. The only thing came close to it was the disco 80s, all right? That was wild, okay.
Well, unfortunately, I couldn't join a fraternity because I was an athlete, and they wouldn't let any athletes join fraternities because of the drinking and smoking. So,
well, there you go, buddy.
Even though we drank and smoked anyway, so it didn't matter. I call the Democrat Party delusions never ceasing. The DNC, delusions never ceasing.
That's good. I like that.
That's pretty good, yeah. Let's see. What do we got here? Let's see. Trump. Nope. Al Gore said the oceans were boiling, so I headed down to the shore with some lemons, Old Bay seasoning, and cocktail sauce for some free boiled shrimp. Unfortunately, the ocean was freezing cold because it's winter. Dejected, I drove home on an empty stomach. Shared from a tweet, and I drove home in my electric car, my electric flying vehicle.
Well, you should have eaten the lemon. Lemons are good for you. You should eat a lemon and a lime every week.
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
I mean, that's how sailors for 500 years prevented scurvy, right? They ate lemons and limes.
That's right. Yeah. From our app chat line, AM 1450 KMMS on your smartphone. See his first book, Art of the Deal. That would be a reference to Trump's book, Art of the Deal. That came out several years ago.
Several, like 40 years ago, whatever.
Something like that. It was a long time ago.
Back in the 80s, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. Republicans voted for a drag queen, put him on committees. Well, Democrats have been doing that for years. So, what's good for one is good for the other. So there you go. So
yeah, I'm always reminded of when this drag stuff comes up, and I'm now it left me. But there was that movie about the U.S. senator's daughter marrying into a family of two gay guys. Remember, and they had the bar in Florida, and you know, it was great because the Kennedys were always in the bars with the in the show. They proposed in the show that it was a great musical. Yeah, it was good.
Well, we've got another poll out, Shane. The 343 Montana residents in October with an overall margin of 5.3%. And this is from the University of, or Montana State University Billings. And overall, the poll results tilts Republican candidates, but voters parted with their politician when it comes to issues on abortion and reproductive freedom. So it was no different in Montana than it was anywhere else. Similar to other states, the polls show that Democrats faced an uphill challenge in the midterms when President Biden's overall approval rating stands at 21%. But voters were unhappy with Biden's plan to forgive college debt. 45 disapproved of that. 39 said they approved. But at the state level, Gianforte's approval rating fared better, 47% of that one. And Ryan Zinke led, of course. We all know that. So, but yeah, Montana's generally speaking, trusting law enforcement. 87% said they trust the police and sheriff's office in Montana. Only 11% not trusting. And when they trust their representatives, 37% said they trust their leaders. 47% or 42% do not trust their leaders. And only 9% of those surveyed said they trust the media, with an additional 8% saying they neither trusted nor distrusted. But 81% said they did not trust the media in Montana. So what do you think of that?
That's a very discreet poll because the size of the state.
Yeah.
And I think it's well represented when it's done at one of the universities, because I think more and more people from around your country want to go to Montana for an education.
Yeah, they do. Well, Montanans also were generally opposed to the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, 53% disagreeing, only 28% agreed. When asked for other details, 49% said they characterized themselves as pro-choice, 33% said they were pro-life, and the remaining said neither, or it depends on each case-by-case basis.
Mm-hmm.
They're strongly against banning books in schools, 70% disagreeing with removing titles from public schools, 19% agreeing. As for teachers, Montana were evenly divided as to whether a teacher with a clean background check should be allowed to carry a gun in a classroom. 47% said they agree, 44% disagreed with that. So there you go.
Well, the only thing that stops a shooter is another shooter. So.
Well, that's what they say anyway.
That's what they say.
Yeah. Montana still largely support using the death penalty as a capital punishment. 70% supported capital punishment. Very few Montanans had ever heard of the Indian Education for All law, a mandate that requires education in public schools about Montana's indigenous people and tribes. Only 16% they had heard of it, and less than 20% said they believe money set aside for it is being used effectively. So say goodbye, Shane.
I'm going to. Thank you, my good friend Thomas, the great Eagle Man. Be happy, be safe, everyone. Live to work, live in the moment, and always love your family, because that's what's important in the first world, the 21st century, and in your life.
There you go, man. Thanks much, Shane, for being with me. All right, that's going to wrap it up for me. Hey, don't forget, it's National Squirrel Appreciation Day, so get out in the yard, appreciate your squirrels while you're there. And also, it's National Hugging Day, so if you're with someone right now, give them a hug. Be careful who it is. Make sure you might know them, or at least ask for the hug. But it is National Hugging Day, so that's going to wrap it up for me. Thanks so much for everybody. Thanks for all the listeners, texters. We appreciate all of you, no matter what side you're on. I am out of here.